Buyers are getting so savvy, they lose the buyer anyway.
Another disappointing development for Zillow.
Some homeowners say Zillow and its affiliate Trulia can make it harder for buyers to ever see your listing.
The company used an algorithm to sell the home for profit, but the algorithm failed.
Don't pay Zillow per lead, and you can be paying a fraction of that cost per lead. Advertise on Google. We see countless times buyer clicks on their profile on Zillow, then they go to social media and they look them up and there's nothing really there, and they're going to go on Google.
Brian is the founder and owner of Maze Marketing. How long have you been doing it?
About 12 years. We specialize in creating predictable revenue. We're here focused on helping you create the system that we can repeat over and over and over again to get you results.
So are AI companies, do you have to have like an actual blog post or can you just be a video?
This is why your website is more important than ever. At some point, you need to take it to the next level and understand that hustle isn't going to get you to the next level. You need to rely on systems. You need to rely on a team in order for you to get to that next level.
Welcome to another podcast, the Arisa Mortgage Podcast. I finally got down to the name. Today I have Bryant Rosario. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Playing.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. Brian is the founder and owner of Maze Marketing, correct? Yeah. How long have you been doing it?
So now it has been quite some time. If we're counting correctly, about 12 years.
12 years, wow. So have you always done these or like, did you do anything else before this?
So always marketing, but different areas of marketing. So I initially started being a marketing coordinator. This was many years ago, and worked my way up to being marketing director, being, VP of marketing at certain companies. And then eventually it was time to just jump boat and go into this ocean of entrepreneurship. And that's when Maze Marketing began.
What made you make that decision? How do you come to the decision of saying, okay, you know what? It's time for me to go on my own.
So interestingly enough, I started Maze Marketing at a very early stage. So it was always there, right? It was more like a hobby, passion project. And I shelved it because, I had to work. So when it came time go back to Maze Marketing, I unfortunately got laid off from my job. And that was the time where I said, you know what? It's now or never. So let's just do it.
You know, it's funny because I think that's I wouldn't say that's the way that everyone starts, but if there was one way to go into business, I always say it's always good to do it as a side hustle, to just start building, putting the foundation, because it takes such a long time to do anything. You you have to learn, right? And, just sometimes life just makes you,
Yeah.
forces you
It's
to.
funny how it works, but it all works for a purpose and for a reason. So I saw that window, and I just had to take it.
There's marketing entails like it just covers so many things, right? And I feel like nowadays there's marketing companies everywhere, but we don't really know what exactly you do, right? Like, so tell me, how are you able to help business owners, large businesses, self-employed individuals? Like, how are you able to help them?
Yeah. So we specialize in creating predictable revenue through marketing systems. So we're not, just going to do everything and anything, right? We're here focused on helping you create the system that we can repeat over and over and over again to get you results. So whether that be creating an AI automated system for your business, whether it be, creating ads so we can predict my activity and revenue. We're not just going to do, let's say, graphic design here. We're not just going to do social media there. It has to go back, to this system. So if you don't have a system, or if you feel like you're just spinning your wheels, then that's when we come in and help you.
Yeah, because I always feel that I go through this myself a lot of times where it's like you start doing one thing here, one thing there. But when you should be really putting a system together that you're able to just do it all the time, because it's really difficult just to keep up and be consistent with something. And honestly, you're never going to know if something actually works unless you're doing it all the time consistently, right? So if you could just give me an example of like how, what kind of systems are we talking about specifically, right?
Yeah. So we lead with website development. That's the first thing we look at. Do you have a website? Is it optimized? Right? Are you showing up on search engines? That's the first thing. If you don't have that, unfortunately, that's where you need to start. And that's where we're going to guide you. That's the first step. So first we help you with your website, making sure that that's where it needs to be, especially in 2026 with AI and all the different tools that there is out there. There's a lot of noise right now. And for us, it's about filtering that noise, giving you what your business needs and what you need as the business owner or the founder. And then we trickle down from there. So start with the website, build automation into it. So where is the traffic coming from, or where are we going to get that traffic from to go to your website? And then once the traffic comes in, now how do we funnel them down to actually convert and generate revenue for your business?
How are you able to make sure that your business is constantly coming up on search engines? Because sometimes I feel like unless you go ahead and put exactly the name of the business, it's hard to find, right? If you go right now and you put Arisa Mortgage, yeah, something's gonna come up with my name. But if you just simply go ahead mortgage, like thousands and thousands.
Especially the big players, right?
Yeah.
The big companies, they're always going to show up first because they're investing, the most,
Yeah.
right? So there's this thing called SEO, search engine optimization. And basically what that does is it works based off of keywords and metadata. So you put all the relevant keywords that your audience or your clients are searching for. So now when Google crawls the internet, right, all the different websites, if you have those keywords and your website is up to par, then Google's going to start ranking you above other competitors. And that's how you begin to show up on Google over the years. It takes time, right? That's the organic way. If you just want to be at the top, then you have to pay off.
In order to work on those keywords, like what are we doing? Are we doing like blog posts? Are we doing, what exactly are we doing?
Yeah, there's a few different ways. So blog posts is the tried and true, right? That's been around forever, right? So you can create a blog post based on those keywords, based on topics that your clients are searching for or your audience is searching for. That's one way. Now, the other way is you can create different pages on your website. So for example, you might have a client that's looking for HELOCs. They want to know everything around HELOCs. You can create a HELOC page on your website that's specific to your area, right? And then put all the information on that page. Put videos on there, right? The more content and engaging content you have, the longer they stay on your website, the better. So if they're on that page, they're watching a video, they're reading for a long period of time, Google's going to rank your website more important than your competitors.
Okay. I mean, is this something that you can do do you actually need a website for this? Or is it something that you can actually do with, Instagram or YouTube or all these things? Because nowadays, like when people think of a website, and I think we had this conversation where it's like, okay, there's like a thing that the word is dynamic website, or there's like an actual website where it's a lot of work and, there's quite a lot of, you have to build a structure around it, right?
That's a great question. And we get asked this all the time. So we just focus on social media presence, or do we need a website? So our answer is you need both, right? Social media, you don't own. You're renting essentially, right? At any given time, the algorithm could go like that. And, there's a shift in your audience or your marketing strategy. With your website, you control that. So what you're building on your website, it's an asset. You're building it year over year. So the reason I say you need both is because the content that you're putting out on social media, which has the keywords, right, which has the topics, which shows you, right, yourself, your personal brand, that needs to be integrated into your website as well because it's going to enhance it, right? So you need both. You need the attention from social media, but you also need your ownership and your Google presence on your website.
I see. Now, how do you come up with those keywords and what to write? Obviously, look, if I'm in the mortgage business, I'll go ahead and talk about how we help mortgage clients get their mortgage, right? But do you have to be intentional on how you write in order to get more traffic?
Yes.
And how do we go about that?
There's a lot that goes into it. The good thing is that there's a lot of AI tools now that help you with this. Not necessarily saying you're going to let AI write it all for you, but it can, help you and it can guide you on what to write. You can even search Google now, and Google will tell you what your clients and audience is searching for. So it gives you the topics. It gives you the keywords that they're looking for, actively typing on Google. So you take that information and you put it in these AI tools, and it'll write a blog post for you. Now you need to be a bit different because anyone can do that.
Yeah.
right? Your competitors could be doing the same thing.
Mhm.
Now, that's when you add your own spin on it, right? Your own personal branding to it, add your own videos to it, make it more engaging, more catered to you and your brand. And that's how you begin to differentiate.
Now, you also talked about automations. Like, what exactly is automations and how does it help a business to have things automated?
Tremendous.
Yeah.
So, quick example, right? You have your website, someone fills out your lead form or your contact form. It normally takes a business about 2 hours to get back to you,
Mhm.
right? That should be instant. It's 2026. You
Yeah.
have automation that once that form gets filled out, there's an automated text that goes out to the lead, and then there's a phone call right after. There should be no reason why they're waiting an hour, 2 hours to hear from you.
Yeah, sometimes even more, right?
Yep, especially if they're busy or, their operations or if they don't have a system, right? So that's a quick example of how automation can create more revenue for your business. Speed is the name of the game these days.
But what would you say to a business owner who's concerned about, let's face it, a lot of business owners, including myself, are always concerned about like having the right conversation with a potential client. We always want to make sure that, hey, we say things the right way. We always want to make sure that we set the right expectation. And sometimes we'll have, I guess my fear thinking about this is like, hey, I send an email and it comes off the wrong way. Is that something, how do we make sure that that doesn't happen? Is that something that simply just takes a lot of work to like build it? Or how do you guys go about it?
Yeah, if it's AI related, you have to train the AI how you can. And yes, that does take, a lot of reps and a lot of training so you can get it, how you want it to get it. But we always recommend video, right? So you have a ton of video online. Give those videos to the AI agent, and the AI agent is going to learn how you speak, how you deliver things, and then is going to customize the messaging towards, your branding and how you deliver it.
Now, switching to email, which is a conversation that we had before, right? And also going back to the point that, when you have social media, if you rely only on social media, you're just renting that strategy. You never know what the company is going to end up doing. And then basically you're not able to reach your clients anymore.
And we see that year over year.
Yeah.
It's diminishing. It's getting lower and lower.
Yeah.
You're reaching less and less people because at the end of the day, they're a company, they're a business. They have to make money. So they want you to spend those dollars
To get
content and get exposed.
Can get exposed, yeah. Yeah, no, that's something that I've been thinking about lately, and we already, started putting the pieces together to get to the point where it's like, okay, I want to be able to control the people that know me, right? So obviously we started working on that through email, but what are other ways that we can do that, right? If you could just tell me, like, what else can we do besides building an email list? So actually, let's go back. How do you start building an email list or telephone so that you can actually reach out to these clients? How do you do that?
So the easiest way is, and if you have budget, is to run ads to that email list so they can subscribe to it, right? Other ways are you can leverage social media, right? So like how you do. So you have your YouTube channel, right? You send traffic there or you get traffic from YouTube. And then the call to actions are, sign up for your newsletter. So those are, quick ways that you can start growing your email list. But another way is on your website. You're getting that traffic from Google every day, every month. So you need to have pop-ups. You need to have an easy way so they can click and then join your newsletter. But it needs to be insightful. It needs to be valuable. No one's just going to join your newsletter because you said so.
Yeah.
Like they need to get something out of it. So whether you're providing great value on what it is they're looking for, whether it's mortgage or not, or you're giving them some type of incentive, right? Like a lead magnet is what we call it in the marketing world, right? Whether it's like a free download or some type of education that they can get to subscribe.
Yeah. Especially certain people, we get bombarded with emails all the time, right? And there are some people that simply just, I'm like, oh, I sign up for 100 emails and then you start getting. And also, I think Gmail and all these email companies, they'll block a bunch of stuff and tell you, hey, this is just like BS.
Yes.
Unless you're constantly
This is marketing.
This is marketing. This is, so what are some of the things that you can do? Like, I think we talked about once of like putting a kind of like a to-do, like what are the documents that you need to get a mortgage, right? What are some of the things that the companies can do to entice people to come in and sign up for the newsletters?
Yeah. So what we're doing now is we're giving them some type of webinar, some short information in video format so they can register or sign up for a newsletter. So whether it's, hey, watch this video so you can learn about how to get the best rate for your mortgage. That's valuable, right? People want to know that. But now it's a video. So it's easier to watch a video than download a PDF and read it.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're doing now is we're giving them access to that video if they subscribe. You have to figure out, okay, what is valuable to your audience? Now, you could tie it to the economy, what's happening right now. You can tie it to something that's, time sensitive. You need to watch this or get this information now. You need to entice them.
Now, obviously, nowadays, everyone is into ChatGPT, Claude, all these artificial intelligence companies. Is that the same way like SEO? Like, how are you able to come up when people go ahead and search that? Because I feel like more and more companies are simply, like more and more people are simply just going to ChatGPT and AI and just type it, hey, who's the best mortgage guy?
Yeah, we see it every day. I mean, and the usage rate is just increasing, continuing to increase of people using, these tools. So in order for you to show up there, and this is funny that you asked because this goes back to the website. These AI tools, they search your website. They search the internet, right? In order to pull up information, not social media, right? So not yet, they don't have access to social media platforms. So they can't scrape that data, that information. So this is why your website is more important than ever. And to have the keywords, to have the content on your website. Because if I'm on ChatGPT and I'm searching for the best loan officer in my area, and your website has that information, has the area, is credible, you've had your website for a long time, it's not just a new website that popped up.
Yeah.
And Google is ranking it, then it's going to show up on the AI search engines like ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, all these different tools.
So in a website, what are the things that you should have? So for example, I'm thinking right now for my mortgage, right? So should I have talking about programs or this is like blog posts and all these things, videos? Should you be having like a bunch of reviews? What are some of the things that when you sit down with someone, you go like, okay, you gotta have this stuff in here.
Yeah. So definitely have, how you help your clients. So whether it's the different programs that you offer, right? That's one page, right? Now each program needs its own page as well, because now you need to go into detail on that specific program, because there's going to be an audience for, let's say, the FHA loan, right? And then there's different variations of that too. So it all depends on the traffic and the activity. If there's a spike right now in, let's say, a specific program that you're offering, you should create a specific page for that program, because you know that there's intent, right? People want to look for that page. Something else you should have is your reviews, like you mentioned. You should have all your reviews filtering to your website, because that's going to make people convert, right? So if you have your Zillow reviews on this side, you have your Google reviews on this side, that should all be filtering into your website.
Now, so are AI companies able to actually, like, do you have to have like an actual blog post, or can you just be a video? Because I'm thinking now, okay, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and build and describe the 5 different most popular mortgage programs, right? Should I just make it with a video, or should it just be like, okay, you need to write it? Both, yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Because I'm thinking right now, I'm like, okay, no wonder people just, it just takes, it's probably something that's going to take a year to actually get to a point where it's like, okay, I have like a good library of information. Yeah.
Well, speaking about systems, the way you should do it is you create the video first. And this is what a lot of the big players do. They create, let's say, the long form video, right? That could be an hour, 2 hours. Then they clip that video, and you're familiar with this. You take clips of it for social media, but you take that long form and then you transcribe it. And that's what you use for your blog post.
Okay, so you basically just transcribe it, put it into AI, and just be like, okay, create a blog post with this?
Because the information in the video is coming from you.
Yeah.
Right? AI isn't creating the content. It's just taking what you said and then structuring it for SEO.
Yeah.
With the right keywords. That's a strategy that we use, right? Create the long form so you're not doing too much work. You create the long form once, clip it up for social, take that long form, transcribe it for a blog post.
How would we apply this to real estate agents, right? Because I feel like, just a lot of real estate agents are not organized with this kind of stuff. There's very few out there. Pretty much everyone is kind of like just, obviously social media, they're using a lot more, but they're not using any other tools. And they usually rely on Zillow and all these companies. They end up paying a lot of money for these companies to go ahead and send them leads where maybe they're able to go ahead and do it themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have plenty of real estate clients, and this is what we teach them. It's like, don't invest all your time and energy and money into these social platforms, into Zillow and all these things. You should be building your own brand, right? And then take those marketing dollars and run ads to your website and ads on social media, right? Don't pay Zillow per lead, when you can be paying, a fraction of that cost per lead, if you advertise on Google. We see countless times where, they're running an ad on Zillow, the buyer clicks on their profile on Zillow, then they go to social media and they look them up, and then they go to their website and they look them up, and there's nothing really there.
Yeah.
And then they lose the buyer anyway. You're just throwing money, in this fire and just burning it.
I had some conversations with some people, completely different business, but it's like, if you have you spend a lot of money on this one beautiful video, right? But then when they go ahead and check everything else, it's like, okay, what is there, right? There's nothing there. Because it's kind of like whatever they see on social media, I feel like a lot of people, it's just the first impression, right? And then for social media, they'll go ahead and look you up. Hey, who is this person? What do you have? Like, what has he done? They look at reviews. They look at everything else, right?
Yeah. Buyers are getting so savvy now.
Yeah.
And they're going to go on Google. Like, we should just understand that from this point on. Everyone is going to look you up.
I mean, you could stalk somebody really bad, right? You can find, if you really want to find information about somebody, like, it's not that hard nowadays. Yeah. You can really find good or bad. So I guess you better have some good information about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had clients that have told us, hey, I spent X amount on advertising, over the years, and it works great for, to bring in the lead, but then it falls through. They leave us, before we even get started. And it's because they don't have a optimized social media marketing presence. You had to be present on social, but you also had to be present on an overall,
Yeah.
Whether it's Google, whether it's on your website, whether it's social media, whether it's, like you said,
Yeah.
your email list. You need to be doing a little bit of all of it, and you need to be consistent on all of it. Because at the point they see you on social media and you look great, but then they go on your website and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Sends mixed signals to the client.
Yeah, or even if there's no website at all.
Exactly.
Another podcast I mentioned this, it's like, there's a reason why all these big companies spend a ton of money on just giving you the same message all the time. Like, if you think about right now, the World Cup is going on, and I keep making this point, but it's like, we all know Coca-Cola. We all know McDonald's. We all know all these companies, and they're paying millions and millions and millions of dollars to still go ahead and remind you that they're there. It's so important that you stay on top of mind, because if not, people forget. It's easy to forget about you when you see a cat dancing on Instagram, and it's like, oh yeah, that's funny. And yeah, or how many people do you find that they come back to you and they go like, oh, what do you do? Oh yeah, I forgot that you do that.
No one wakes up thinking about your business unless they're your client and you're there to help their business. But no one wakes up saying, you know what, today I need a website.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Today I need to call Maze Marketing. No one does that. So it's your job, right, to make sure that you're staying in front of them, whether it's through social media platforms, whether it's on Google, right, whether it's advertising on a billboard, whatever it is, you need to make sure you're staying in front of your audience. But you need to make sure you have the right system to convert that audience, because just getting the attention, just getting the traffic, that is just
You need to be able to take that customer to the stages until you get to a sale. And you actually need to, the other thing, you need to be able to deliver, because if you're telling somebody, hey, I can get you a mortgage, but you're just really bad at helping people get mortgages, it doesn't matter how much marketing you have, it's actually going to make it worse, because people are going to be like, okay, what's going on here,
And it's the same thing with AI, right? So everyone has access to these tools, right? So the way I like to look at AI is an amplifier, right? If you have a good business, AI is going to make it great. But if you have a bad business, AI is just going to make it really, really bad.
Yeah.
So it's not about the tool, it's not about the next shiny object. It's really about how you deliver in your product.
Now, what would you say to people that are constantly saying, okay, you know what? I don't do this because I don't want it. I need to get more money to make it look better, right? What would you say to those people where they're just waiting for it to be perfect?
It's interesting because we had clients like that, and it does more harm than good because it's never going to be perfect, right? So for us, it's okay, let's take this in stages, right? What does it need? What do you need for this to get off the ground? And then we can work our way to that perfection, right? Because it's never going to be perfect to those, individuals that are perfectionists, unfortunately. So it needs to be at a certain level of perfect so you can get it off the ground. Because if not, then you're never going to get it done.
Best way I like to put it is if you're comparing yourself to the, multinational corporation, you're never going to be able to get that done, right? You need to just start because it's once you start, you learn how to do it. You little by little, piece by piece. And the other thing that I've noticed too is that how many, this is not about going viral. It's about just, like I said, building a library. So like over time, you never know what's, when people look you up for one thing that maybe you recorded 6 months ago.
Yeah. These are assets, right? And like I've shared with you before, you're building your library of assets that you can use over and over and over again. If you're chasing going viral, you're never going to go viral.
Yeah.
So you should just focus on creating content that you can use today and 10 years from now, right? Unless things change and you have to remake that video. But focus on building your library, building your assets that you can use on different platforms, not just something that you can only use on Instagram, for example, right? Not just something that can only be on YouTube. You need to create content that you can use across platforms and also your email list as well.
Yeah, because sometimes Instagram is just, I tell people Instagram just, it sucks the life out of you because you basically have to be there every single day posting something. Every couple of days you have to be, if you don't post anything for like a month, basically like your views completely go down, like nobody sees you. YouTube tends to be a lot better because, it just stays there and then depending on the title and everything, just people search it and it just comes up.
And you can go back and modify the title, you can modify the information. The great thing is that Google owns YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So all that is integrated with your website, your online traffic and everything like that is integrated as well with YouTube.
If you search for something, the first thing that comes up is videos. They will give you a video and then they will give you a bunch of.
Yeah. So we're actually recommending most of our clients to shift from video content strictly, short form on Instagram, Facebook and things like that to YouTube because that's only going to enhance their website.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The way I see it too is like, sometimes you'll have a quick conversation with somebody, but then if you're really serious about it, you're going to sit down and actually go ahead and spend 20 minutes learning about something, right? And that's YouTube. Yeah. Where do you think all of this is going in terms of marketing? Like, what do you see in the future? What are some of the things that, okay, people are just simply not doing now besides this, but that they should be doing in the future?
So you should most definitely look into AI tools. If you're not up to speed with AI, you're going to be left behind, unfortunately. And there's a lot of people that say, oh, it's a lot of noise. I'm still going to do business how I've used to do business 10 years ago. And unfortunately, you're going to be left behind because AI can help you in so many ways, especially in the housing industry, right? You can have, AI agents that make your life so much easier, right? Instead of you manually doing all the work, you can have AI agents do the work for you and then you just manage them. So what used to take a team of 5 can now take, just a team of 2, right? So that is something, we see that's going to be evolving, and we see it now too. It has already started. But the AI boom is going to change a lot of businesses. And if they don't take time now to educate themselves, before you know it, in a blink of an eye, it's like, wait, why am I taking hours to get this done where my competitor just did it in 10 minutes? And they're providing a great experience for the buyer, for the client.
I have been guilty of not changing getting complacent and not making changes to my business, according to the times. I see so many people that basically they see, hey, I've been successful this way. Why do I need to change, right? But little by little, just, somebody else comes in and they eat your lunch.
Yeah.
Or you know what, or simply the market, like the environment just changes. That makes it much harder to get business. And then where else do you?
And video content. I mean, content in general, right? If you're not staying in front of your audience, and it's funny because the shelf life of content is getting lower and lower.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But you need it, right? People need to connect with who you are, how you do things, how you present yourself, right? It's no longer, I'm just going to go on a random website, I'm going to apply for a mortgage, and that's it. Right? People want to know, who can I trust with this important step in my life, right? So they need to see you in content, how you speak, how you handle these situations, how you help your clients from A to Z, right? They need to see the content. They need to make sure that you're providing them a great experience and a fast experience as well, right? Not something that's going to take, yeah. And sometimes it does take longer based on different situations, but overall, it needs to be timely and speedy. And that's where AI comes in, right? And your system, and making sure that it's running smoothly and that you're not spinning your wheels.
When you're selling, most of the time, the first thing that you're doing is building trust. Like, you're sitting down with somebody that you've never met. You're basically just building rapport and trying to find that connection, the person on the other side. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that can take a long time, especially if it's a big sell. But being able to have them, like if somebody finds your videos and somebody sees you already, they're already going to have that perception of you, whether it's good or unfortunately bad, but they're going to have that perception of you. And the sale is going to be, honestly, a lot easier, because the fact that they already reached out to you is because they feel comfortable. They took that first step. I tend to have find that clients that call me first, it's a much easier sell than if somebody refers me. Like, for example, a real estate agent will come in and refer me a client. And if that client has never seen me before, they just go like, okay, I'm just following because this person sent me your way, but I don't really trust you. They always go back, I don't know if you've seen like, oh yeah, let me go back and, hey, so-and-so, this guy told me this. Is that correct?
And we see that every day. So what we do to combat that is we create a page on your website that educates them. So when they come in and they contact you or they refer to you, they have some place they can go to learn about how you do things, right? To get educated, to build that trust. And then they learn all the information there. So what that does for you or for a business owner, it removes the friction. It makes that sale 10 times easier, but it also makes that client trust you a lot sooner. Instead of it taking months, like you can narrow that down to weeks. So that's also another important, page you should have on your website. That page where you can send that lead to learn everything about how you, can service them and how you have helped others, because that's going to build trust instantly and then make your sale.
Yeah, make it so easier. Video reviews, when somebody actually goes ahead and says it on camera, hey, Danny helped me with these. Those are like money. That's actually one of the projects I have in mind, which is like to go ahead and just try to just get those people that really love the way I work and just go ahead and put them on camera, because it's going to be, listen, you see it, like if somebody tells you, hey, Brian was amazing. He helped me make this much money. He organized my whole business. It's a lot more valuable than simply, reading about it.
So just a written review. But, written reviews still work, and video is great. That's a little bit more challenging to get, right?
Yeah, because people go like, oh, I'm always thinking, because, I wouldn't say I'm good at this, but I have experience with video. So it's just easier for me to simply go ahead and be like, hey, let's do a video. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of people that will go ahead and take us there.
They're like, I'm not sure if I want to be on camera.
Yeah.
So we understand that. But if you can get the videos, even better. But written reviews still work. People just want to see that you have helped others, whether it's in a video, whether it's a picture, right? Like a picture of a closing. They want to see some type of proof.
It's really amazing how much that picture helps other people go ahead and makes it easier for other people to call.
Yeah, man. It's something that you can get done so easily.
Mm-hmm.
But we see many agents and loan officers that don't want to attend the closing. Like, no, I'll skip. It's like, well, why would you do that?
Yeah.
If you understand the way marketing works, right, and the way selling works, you definitely need that picture or some type of video or just be in that moment
Mhm.
so you can capture the review as well.
Yeah.
Because once they leave that closing table,
Life,
you,
just life. Yeah.
you need to just try to reel them back in, and it's difficult.
Yeah. Life
So
is,
you need to be there, try and get that review, right? Or whether it's video, written, however you can get it, you need to make sure you're going to your closings.
yeah. It's really hard to build a loyal following and being able to have proof, like proof of concept. I think that's the right way to say it. But being able to prove that, hey, there's people that believe in you, it goes such a long way.
And you need to be intentional about it. There's a lot of business owners, realtors, loan officers, they're so focused on getting this deal done that they forget about, okay, what else do I need to do to get more deals,
Mhm.
right? To help more people.
It's a roller coaster, right? And a lot of loan officers go to do this, and like I have been through it myself, and I'm not gonna lie, there's still times where I just go through it. Where if you're a real estate agent or if you're a loan officer or any business, you go ahead and you do all the right things, you get the business, then you worry about closing that business and making sure that things are okay, and then you let go of all the right things that you did, and then you have to start again, right? Unless you have a system that actually keeps doing all those constantly.
But also, just to add on to that, you need to run ads, right? That's going to keep you in front of people constantly. And this is where I talk about predictable revenue, right? You need to have something, whether it's advertising, whether it's organic SEO, you need to have something that's keeping you in front of people so you can always have that constant traffic, right, of leads or just inquiries because, you're going to filter out the noise, but you're always going to have that consistent flow.
So let's talk about ads. So when we say ads, I think a lot of people immediately think about Instagram because that's something that most businesses have done, right? And we see it all the time where like Instagram tells you boost this post, go ahead and put money. But what are other types of ads that you can put?
So there's a ton now. Even ChatGPT has ads.
Yeah.
So we're testing that out to see how, efficient is it and if it yields results. Time will tell because it's pretty new. But you can run ads, on social media, like you said. You can run ads on Google. These are just tried and true places where you can get traffic from. So it just depends on what type of business you are, right? If you are a business that has content, right, and is pretty frequent in putting content out, then social media makes sense. If you're a business that doesn't have that much content and you're not in front of the camera that frequently, you can run Google ads because you don't necessarily need content. It's more search based, more text based.
Mhm.
And you can do other ads via Google as well, but that's how we like to do it. So depending on what business you are, we guide you in the right direction. But if you can do both, then that's even better because now you're tackling the traffic and audience on social media, which is more on the entertainment side, right? These are people that are just scrolling.
Mhm.
They're not necessarily looking for you. So you capture that audience. But then on the Google side, you capture the intent audience. These are people that are actively searching for, what you do and your services, whether it's I'm looking, what's the credit score that I need to get a mortgage, right? What is the best mortgage program for me and my family of five, or whatever the case may be, whatever, the situation is. But you need to run strategies on both so you can capture those two different audience because they're completely different.
Yeah. Now, how about like, there's so many people that feel like, okay, I don't see any results from it. I'm putting money, but I don't see any results. He said, what is the science behind it? I guess like, what are the things that you have to be very careful with when you're doing ads? And what are the things that you must have in every ad? Like,
So when I hear that question, the first thing I ask is, how long have you been running ads?
yeah.
The people run an ad and they let it run for 2 weeks and they're like, I didn't see any results. And it's like, okay, but you need to give it time,
Yeah.
right? And it depends on, again, what type of business it is and what type of ad is it. But we always recommend 3 months. In 90 days, you should be able to see results, based on what the campaign is about. So we like to look at, okay, first month, if it's a new audience, they need time to get familiarized with your brand, your business, and what you do.
Mhm.
right? Then we add retargeting ads for your warm audience. So these are people that already know you. It's like when you go to Nike to buy shoes,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you start seeing Nike ads everywhere. Those are retargeting ads. So you need to keep them coming back, right? And then month 3, all the ads that did work on month 3, now that's when we add more budgeting to those ads because we know they're working.
You really have to just bombard the customer. So I mean, you're basically fighting with other people in order to get them to see you and learn about you. That's really it.
And the algorithms now are changing, and it's making it easier actually, because you no longer have to fine tune that much. The algorithm is going to watch your video, or it's going to look at your ad, and it's going to say, okay, this ad should be shown to this specific person based on what they're doing on social media, based on what they're doing on Google, right? So now you don't have to be so specific, right? You can run broad campaigns. The algorithm is going to do the work for you. It's going to put it in front of the people that are looking for you. Now, after that, then, that's where the funnel comes in and the conversion strategy. So you can try to convert them. Just because they see you on social media doesn't mean they're going to work with you.
When it comes to social media, what is the one place that people are just completely overlooked? Because everyone thinks Instagram, right? But what is the one place that people are just completely overlooking and that they should be more active? YouTube.
Yeah. Long form is scares people away because it's work.
Yeah.
But if you do it the right way, if you start with long form first, and like we said, then you clip that long form and that satisfies the social media content, the short form, then you're satisfying both. But YouTube is being, overlooked tremendously. And the main reason is because it's optimized into Google's algorithm. And you definitely want to be capturing that intent audience.
Now, what are your thoughts on, for example, what I'm doing, right? I do mortgages, but besides mortgages, you're going to hear me talk about a bunch of different topics, right? Including golf. But what are your thoughts on that, right? What are your thoughts on somebody who is in one business, but is talking about other stuff? Like, should somebody just go all in to just one business, one topic, or should they kind of just branch out and try to just show a different side of what they do?
I normally say, stick with one thing. That's what I normally recommend to my clients. And the reason is because you want to be known for something.
Mhm.
You want to be known for this one thing. That doesn't mean you can't branch off into other things. Just keep it separate, right? Have a separate place for it. Because if I go to your page and you're talking about mortgages, but then I see golf and then I see something else and something else, you're losing my focus on what you're actually trying to sell, which is mortgages. So you can have your mortgage page, right? Or website, right? But then you can also have on this side your golf or any other hobbies or any other businesses. Just keep them separate. That way you don't lose the attention and the focus of the audience that's looking for that page or that content.
Well, listen, Brian, thank you so much for this, man.
Absolutely.
Lots of information. A big part of what I'm trying to do here is just show people about things that sometimes we just don't think about, right? Especially in business, right? Because, like I meet so many business owners, and I realize that they have no idea about marketing. They have no idea about simple things that they should be doing in their business. They simply just go day to day, just hustling.
Yeah, no, and I get it. That's how you start off. But at some point, you need to take it to the next level and understand that hustle isn't going to get you to the next level. You need to rely on systems. You need to rely on a team, right? In order for you to get to that next level. And we all know we need marketing, right? As a business owner, we know we need it. But what's the best way to get it done?
To get it done, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Thank you very much, man.
Dan,
Thank you for coming.